Hello, Sold viewers. Big Ronnie here for the Sold Stay at Home series. Today is Sunday, May 3rd, 2020. We are having fun catching up with your favorite artists and showing you that they are continuing life as usual. Art goes on, and that's the message that we're trying to bring out to our viewers here. It's a new format. Normally we sit everybody around our dining room table and all are welcome, and we have a nice chat with our contributors and an artist, and it's really a social thing that we do with the podcast, the normal podcast. So here we're doing it a little different, trying to show how everybody's coping with the Corona lockdown, and frankly, seeing some new art. So I'm pretty excited to interview our guest today, Jules Muck, coming all the way from California. Jules, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, we're super excited to interview you. You are one of the more prolific artists out there. I think, according to your Instagram feed, you don't stop painting ever, do you?
Oh, I try to do at least like something a day. Usually I stay busy all day with, a mixture because I do pers personal stuff and I do, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I just said power off. I don't know why. But yeah, I do a mixture of canvas work at home, and then I like to go out in the town and paint some public work, and I do tattoos and I do digital stuff for people. So I like to stay pretty busy. I'm always making stuff. We just made some new gear. I'll show you. Hold on. This just came in. So this is like,
Yeah.
based on my painting. And that was Reviver Print Company, a print shop in Las Cruces. So I usually travel around a lot too. And this is the difference between right now we're not traveling. And I meet a lot of artists, and I'm able to do collaborations with so many people all over the country. And I was happy to be able to do this collab with Reviver, even though we're in lockdown.
It's funny. I was taking a look at your public work leading up to the interview, and I loved the Gilligan piece that you just finished. It's such a timely piece right now. I mean, I feel like everyone my age and older grew up with that as their childhood, and now to see Gilligan juxtaposed with a oh my god, where are we now type of situation with this Corona, I loved it.
Oh, thanks so much. I've painted Gilligan a couple times before, and I noticed that this time it hit pretty hard with people. So I think you're right. The timing is everything.
Now, you're the type of person that doesn't shy away from controversial work in the public space.
I mean, to be honest, I think I've curbed myself considering what I used to do. But people are like vigilante justice out here. They will find you. They will find what you're doing. They will call whatever job you're supposed to have. They will try to destroy your life. So I consider myself to be extremely curbed. I mean, considering after 9/11 in 2001, I painted Osama bin Laden as Jesus Christ and got chased through the streets of Little Italy. At that point, I had nothing to lose, so I wasn't vilified in the media. I was, pretty much a nobody. And now that I have some eyes on me, it's excruciating how picky they are about everything. And if somebody wants to come after you, like they'll make it up. They'll be like, "Well, that means this." I'm like, "No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that." And they go for it, man. They go for the jugular, and I don't know why they do that with an artist. I don't think I'm a threat, but
Isn't it funny that
different.
when an artist has a piece of work that's appreciated, they're always like, well, what does that mean to you? And you're right. If that's what it means to you, then I've heard artists say that so many times that it's about what the viewer thinks it means. But I guess not when it's negative, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever people say some weird stuff. And I'm always interested when it's positive, obviously. When someone has a positive experience with a piece, and I've heard things like, "Oh, that piece reminded me and my sister, and we hadn't talked in 30 years. So I called her up after I saw that. Now we're talking." And I get crazy letters like that all the time from people that are affected because the work is public for people that don't, have to go to a museum or something, and it's in your life, so it becomes a part of people's lives. Oh,
Now,
yeah.
what was the story behind one of my favorite pieces that you did that was a little more controversial than I think should have been, was the Larry Bird mural.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what happened? I got asked to paint. So there was so many things I got asked to paint in Indianapolis, and actually, this one building was just kind of the same blue as that jersey. And I had seen that photo of him. Someone had sent me a photo, like, you gotta paint Larry. You're in Indiana, and he's wearing his Indiana thing. And I had the job to paint this building, and the guy was totally open. So I painted Larry Bird. And to be honest, it was a little boring just as Larry Bird. So I added the tattoos just for like kind of something more to look at. And I tried to relate them to himself and myself. I put my logo on there. I put the 76ers logo on there. 76, not the 76ers logo. But the 76 was the year that he played for Indiana, and he was wearing that jersey. I put the Celtics logo. I put, stuff of basketball, and I thought it was totally tongue in cheek, kind of funny, and he kind of didn't get it. And that's the problem with the traveling, is that not all people are on the same wavelength everywhere you go. Whereas I think if I did that somewhere else, it would have been perceived as, oh yeah, haha, that's cool. But it was he he thought it was a trademark infringement violation, ruining his reputation. I mean, this was a small. To me, it was like not that important of a mural, but he made it important by doing that.
Now, do you think it's like the plight and the way that stand-up comedians are persecuted? It's free speech, and I should be able to say whatever I want. I'm sorry if you didn't think that that was funny, but some people do think that's funny and they laugh at this. Isn't it very similar?
I
Ju-
mean, I know like legally you could go to bat on anything, but I don't like to I don't like to hurt people's feelings like on a personal level. I've like I said vilified in the media, and I don't think it's nice, and I don't want to do that to anyone. So when his lawyer told me that he didn't like it and he was offended, I totally agreed to change it. It wasn't a problem.
Now, I think someone that was just looking at your work uh, for the first time might think that you came from canvas, but you actually came from spray paint.
Yeah, my first medium was spray paint, and I was doing letters for a long time, for about 10 years. And I just kind of got bored of them. And I started doing characters, and characters became my signature, and it slowly graduated to realism. My first green characters were cartoonish, and then I started using the female graffiti writers as my basis for portraits, and they were how I learned how to do portraiture. But I learned on the side of the train tracks. I learned how to paint people on the side of the train tracks.
Now, speaking of famous female graffiti writers, you came up and had a mentor of one of the more famous people in the game ever.
Yeah, I mean, Lady Pink totally took me under her wing. It was really cool because I knew about her obviously, and I was super intimidated. So it was she kind of gave me that push to try something besides letters, and I was too scared to say no to her. Really, is what happened. So when she started telling me go do this, go do that, and I worked for her. She gave me my first art job. She paid me to work with her, and she also hooked me up with a lot of really cool opportunities, and I met a lot of other people.
So, most of the people we speak to don't have that opportunity to work under someone who, basically paved the way for them. I imagine there were a lot of shortcuts that she taught you, not only in technique but also in dealing with people. Does anything really stick out from that?
Well, she definitely, gave me the guidance about the money stuff, and, making sure I get deposits and that kind of stuff, and valuing myself. Mostly what she gave me was the confidence. I lacked confidence. And when she told me, you go paint that, I believed that I could because she believed that I could. As far as technique, I ended up kind of more, what I did was I got a lot of old painting books, and I copied every book, every painting in the book. It was called this A to Z Masters of Great Paintings. and I copied every painting. And that's how I learned really how to paint, to the point where Pink would hire me to do the portraits because my portraiture became so refined. And that was from studying the old masters. So it was a combination. I think definitely, and Smith, painting bombing with Smith taught me how to get a mural done fast. I think about that now when I'm doing a mural, when I'm knocking out a massive building in a matter of hours. It's because they told me, like Smith would take me to the freight yard and he'd be like, "This is how you destroy a whole train. You do an outline all the way down the train, you fill the whole thing in with bucket paint all the way down the line, every piece, and then you go back to the beginning and you outline it." So this bucket paint spray paint combination became my recipe, and something that he taught me in order to get the murals done. And it works. It really does. So it's a combination of the people that Pink exposed me to and sent me out to paint with, and the bombing people, and her business sense, really. And she also has that who cares, piss them off kind of thing. Like, we painted some pretty obscene murals together.
Speaking of obscene, one of my questions I had for you, I love the fucking bunnies, and every time they pop up, it's just hilarious. And I love how people are offended by them and things like that. But my question is, why are the bunnies not waiting to have a smoke? They're having a smoke mid bang.
Well, in getting back to our idea that other people have the insight, I've heard a few different things about that. And my favorite, which I think is kind of ridiculous because I wasn't thinking that, someone told me that it's also the reason a lot of people don't like the bunny is because the smoking bunny is symbolic of male impotence. So the female on the bottom is having a cigarette because she's so bored. And I kind of prescribe to the bored theory. I don't know about the impotence theory, but the fact that, like, you're kind of just letting yourself get fucked in society sometimes. You're just like, and just sit back and whatever. It's kind of, for me, smoking always symbolizes I don't care, because you already know it's bad for you. Who cares? You're doing it, and also kind of trying to enjoy it, even if it is whatever it is. So it's a twofold thing. Um, for me, it made it a little more interesting. To be honest, like the first time I ever painted the bunnies, I was doing this garbage bombing. I did a year where I just painted trash, and
Hell yeah, I
it was
remember.
this dirty old mattress. Yeah. And on this mattress, it was like striped 60s looking. It was dirty. And I saw the bunnies. Like, I was like, and they weren't, it was cute teal stripes, but it was dirty, it was stained. And I think for me, that's why the bunnies had a cigarette, because they were cute, fluffy. I didn't think it was offensive that the bunnies were, mating, which is so natural and basic. It didn't even occur to me that that would piss people off. But I gave it the cigarette to put that kind of dirtier edge on it, like a little bit grimy, gone through some stuff kind of feeling.
Now you go from the hard, controversial topics to butterflies. Where does that
Yeah.
where does that softer side come from?
I mean, to me, butterflies are pretty hardcore. They're like, symbolize of change. They symbolize change to me. I've also heard that butterflies are the spirits of our people who have passed, and I've had a lot of friends that pass. And when they come, I kind of think like, oh, there's so and so, there's so and so, and I do paint a lot of deceased people. I paint a lot of people right after they die, and I paint a lot of butterflies. It does make people feel lighthearted, and it does. It's not offensive, which is nice, because sometimes I really need something not offensive. But for me, they're the symbol of change, when that metamorphosis that happens. So they're pretty powerful creatures, also.
How are you handling the lockdown now? Is this like a normal thing for you? Are you working all day, every day, regardless of medium, or do you really just you miss being out there?
I mean, I miss traveling. I do. I miss traveling. I miss. We've been in lockdown because we're helping my boyfriend Kyle, my boyfriend's family. So we're here up in the countryside helping them. So it's an extra twist on the lockdown. And honestly, I think it's better for me that I'm not home, because I am not good at following rules. And though I respect everybody's the scientific opinion and the healthcare workers, I would have a really hard time not messing with my friends and trying to do stuff. And so I'm grateful for the situation where I'm a little bit removed, It makes it easier. We're out in the countryside. We're in Somas, and I'm able to go outside and paint on things still. And I have gone back to LA a couple times under really safe circumstances to do a couple jobs. But you know what? Like the jobs are slower. Like I was getting a lot of work before this. It's shifted. I still have work on a daily basis. Most of my commissions are canvas. People are asking me to paint canvases. I'm so grateful, and I'm making merch and selling merch. But I've done some low key murals, kind of. I just did actually a massive one on La Brea, but I was on a lift, so it wasn't dangerous. And it's definitely slower than normal, and that drives me crazy. But I'm able to stay busy because I paint no matter what. I had a good few decades there where I wasn't getting paid to paint, and I was just going around painting. So it's kind of like the same deal.
Are you working on any new techniques, any new things while you're locked down?
Well, I've been doing a lot more stuff, kind of using the iPad. I started making coloring books for people where I outlined my pieces and put them online. I started doing a little tarot thing that's on my website too. But I'm like always exploring new ideas, and this whole COVID and lockdown and quarantine and germs, like it's such a huge new topic to explore. Like the ideas are endless. Like you mentioned with Gilligan being all of a sudden perfect. Like I painted him before, but it didn't hit that way. And painting, the Queen of England with the British flag, and their whole thing is God Save the Queen, and the painting, all the things that have come from this. It is really inspirational. All the different ideas, and I think knowing that people are looking for something to look at, something to laugh about, makes it much more inspiring.
Well, I think your work is, and I'm going to use this respectfully, but it's always busy. It's always something good to look at. There's a lot going on. You never do a boring piece. Even your simple pieces are busy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the simple pieces usually pack the most punch, because if I go simple, it's because I have a really simple, straightforward idea. And that doesn't always happen. And, really, I just like to paint so much. Sometimes I can't stop myself from adding and going overboard.
What do you listen to while you're working?
What do I listen to? It's a mixture. To be honest, I used to listen to a lot of, like, when I was doing my evening painting at home, I listened to a lot of Leonard Cohen in the nighttime. And that's kind of like my painting before bed. When I'm out in the community painting, I don't wear headphones or listen, because I want to converse with people. So when I'm doing my outside daytime painting, I like to be available to everybody, because it's a piece of work that's going up in their community, and kind of like embrace everybody that's around. Um, I also like to hear the spray paint, so I don't wear headphones when I spray paint,
Hmm.
because I think that's part of the control of that kind of paint is the listening. And Pink taught me that, actually. She really did. So what do I listen to? I listen to everything, though, and I have a continuous different weird playlist. I've been listening to, what's funny lately is a lot of kind of Jesus rap. I don't know if you figured that out yet, but there's a whole, like, Black Knight, KB. I'm not a big religious person, but I think it's really interesting how they are rapping against. They're kind of like talking shit about people who rap about drugs, money, and hoes. So it's a whole nother twist, and then they're like, praise the Lord. So it's that's been fun in the mornings. I've been listening to
I can't wait to
that.
see
It's a
your
good
role of your favorite Jesus rap artist.
one. Oh, KB.
What do you think is going to come out of this for the street and the public art scene after the lockdown? What do you hope is going to come out of this?
Oh, I mean, what do I hope? I hope that people aren't going to be too scared to, like, get work done, and maybe value art a little more, because we've been continuous through this. Most artists have been producing through this because we have to, and the fact that people are maybe slowing down a little to look at the art more, maybe important. I think I'm also kind of excited that I've been doing more canvas work and having people being able to buy canvases for their homes and being able to cross over into that more fine art. Because I've always done canvases, but I've definitely hit harder as a muralist and had more success as a muralist. So I'm excited that people want to commission work on canvas. It makes me feel like, slightly more legitimate in that whole world. But I do hope that people continue to show respect and love towards the artist because it is, in a way, escape when you can't escape, when you can't go anywhere, when you're stuck, when you're in lockdown. You can look at a piece of work and you can escape.
Now, I think from my notes, it says you lived in New York until 2008 or 2009?
Yeah, I think it was 2008 I came to California. I'd been to California before, but never very successfully. I usually ended up like homeless and had to get out. But I moved to Venice, yeah, 2008, and have been here ever since, though I travel quite extensively.
What food from New York do you miss?
Pizza, raised pizza,
Ray's Pizza.
big time. Yeah.
Two questions. One is, how is dat doggo Dada?
Dada's good. Come here, Dada. He's in a hole. Come
Oh,
here.
I'd love to see
Come
him.
on, you bum. He loves the countryside. He got sprayed by a skunk the other day. He's doing all the things that you do in the countryside. But come here, Dada. Come here, baby. Come on. Come on. Get up here.
Oh, hello, buddy.
Yeah, good boy. He still smells a little. Yeah, boy. You want to turn around and say hi?
We'll try to use that for
Yeah.
the clip. That was a good picture. I love your murals of him because I could see that mural every time. And sometimes he's facing this way, sometimes he's facing that way, sometimes he's sitting up. I love that dog.
Yeah, sometimes I dress him up and in the mural anyway, not in real life.
Second question I had was the rainbow tears that are prevalent in your work. Where did that come from? I bet you there's a good story there.
Well, honestly, they came. The first time I painted rainbow tears was I paint. It was I heard that the Rolling Stones canceled in New Orleans, and a lot of people were bummed out. They were going to play a show. It was only like a year or two ago. They were going to play Jazz Fest, and I was listening to that rainbow song, and I was painting Mick, and I put the rainbows on, and right then I got the news about Nipsey, and it was just a really emotional. It was right at that time when Nipsey passed, and then I went out and painted the mural for him the next day. I mean, I didn't use the rainbows there because I feel still like people don't always get it, and I get it as in terms of like the bittersweet and crying, but it's like tears of happiness sometimes. I mean, that's another thing that just means so many things. And I've seen people start to use them now in other pieces. And I've had some backlash, which is weird. I mean, there's rainbows. Usually rainbows are safe, but you never know. People will find some reason to have a problem with stuff. But for me, they mean happiness and emotional, like having a lot of emotion and overflowing of
Now, looking down your feed, I don't want to assume, but you don't post a lot about collabs with other artists. Is that a normal thing for you? Do you not work much with others?
Well, I work, like I just said, I did this collab with Reviver. I like to work with artists that do things I can't do, like his print shop. I can't do that. So, and then I can plug him too and get him some work. I work with, when I'm traveling, I work with other artists more. Like being right now in isolation, I haven't, but I did come up that way. We always did murals and graffiti as a group effort. And but there was times when I got stuck with the background more than half of the time. They would come drop their piece, and I'm hooking up the whole background. And there was times when I got a little fed up with that because I love doing a mural, but I'm not just trying to just do that. So in a lot of ways, it's easier for me to get the thing done if I just go at it and do it, and I'm not waiting for someone to come drop their piece and put their name on it. So, it's a mixture. I like to go and drop in on people's work. I've done like a lot of different collaborations where people are already doing a mural. Trickster, I love to paint with Trickster. I love to paint with Teal. I go and paint on, the women that I paint with is obvious. Like I love to paint with QA, Queen Andrea, and Lady Pink. And I like to, meet people when I'm on the road, and they usually have different opportunities. And you never know. You never know what's going to happen. When I post stuff, my Instagram feed is more like my portfolio. So even if there is another artist, I'm usually just photographing the piece that I did because I use that thing to show people and get work, and I don't want to take credit for anybody else's work.
Got it. Let's talk about your tattoos for a second. When did that start?
I mean, it was kind of later in life. It was in my 20s. As a teenager and as an early 20s, I didn't get tattoos because all my friends were apprenticing, and I knew that I would just be a pincushion, basically. So I held out. I was always like, I don't want to have tattoos. I was doing a lot of shoplifting at the time and a lot of the shady stuff, and it was just better not to have tattoos. I had experiences when I was arrested for graffiti where they would catalog everybody's tattoos. So that said to me right away, like, don't get tattoos. And I gave into that, like probably late 20s, and I got my first tattoo for my friend who passed away. That was the M. Everyone thinks the M is for Muck, but it was for my friend who passed, Matthew. And I then got, I've gotten a bunch of others since then. Obviously, I've done some myself. I did my stars myself. I was doing 23 stars, but the needle broke at 5 stars. So I am a 5-star general, 5-star hotel, however you want to take it. But I have my freedom, my knuckles, to remind me not to chase that kind of freedom where you end up homeless and on drugs. Real freedom for me has become like paying my bills and showing up when people ask me to, that sort of
I love it, and I love the stories behind tattoos because they're always so personal. When did you first pick up a tattoo machine?
Oh, I've been tattooing now like a long ass time, which is surprising because I'm not very good. But I've never wanted to pursue it as a career. I don't, I haven't done like a lot of tattooing on people I don't know. Mostly tattoo friends, and so I've been doing it since I moved to Venice. I think 2008, and I was real bad for a long time. If you look at Muck tats, it's like real terrible tattoos. But recently, I've had actually some pretty well, some pretty good tattoo artists reach out to me, and we've done some trades where I've shown them how to paint and they show me how to tattoo. And so my skill level like increased a lot at that point just because I was able, it's like little techniques like the way you hold the machine and you know different things like that that made so much difference and having the right stuff, obviously.
What's your style?
What style with the tattooing?
Yeah,
No
your
style.
preferred.
Oh, with the tattooing? No, I don't have a style. I mean, I use a machine, so I don't hand poke because it's slow, but I go real fast. I run the machine really, really high voltage, and I just draw on people like I do like a whole back in an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Jules, that was a very quick half hour. I want to thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. It looks like you're having a great time out there. I want to wrestle with that dog. I want to put him in a headlock and give him kisses.
Yeah, he would love that. We'll hope to meet you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, before we let you go, please let our viewers know where they can find your work online and social.
Oh yeah, well, I have a website. It's julesmuck.com, JULESMUCK. And I also have a web shop, which is muckshop.com. And we have an in-person shop if you're ever in Venice when this catastrophe is over. It's at 511 Woodlawn. And I also have the Instagram, obviously, which is Muck Rock. And that's a lot of my more recent public stuff. But I have a separate Instagram where I put some of my fine art pieces, and that's Jules Muck. So, and Dada has an Instagram too. That's Dada.
Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing what you come up with next, and I hope you stay smiling. Looks like you're doing good.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Bye.
We are sold out with Jules Muck.